That's right, you read the title correctly. We're going to be looking at every single NHL team in alphabetical order and rate how their offseason went. We'll need a different format than usual for this video. We're just gonna rattle them off quick today, so try to keep up, alright? Let's get to it. Without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into the video. Anaheim Ducks. Building around the developing Zegras, Terry and Drysdale was the mission this past offseason. They did a solid job with free agents like Ryan Strome, Frank Vatrano, and John Klingberg. If the young guns become what the Ducks hope they can be, this might be a playoff contender. Offseason grade B. Arizona Coyotes. And the tumbleweed blows by. Yeah, nothing much happened here. No meaningful additions or big trades. Nothing suggesting a big step going forward in this season. Very disappointing. Offseason grade D. Boston Bruins. Ensuring that Bergeron is staying on for another year and bringing on David Krejci from Europe, all for a meager salary cap hit, is a big win for the Bruins. They always get great deals on star players somehow. David Pastrnak is the only question mark for future seasons. Offseason grade A-. Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres tried their best to finish the 2021-22 season strong and give fans hope, but they did little with it. With their low salary cap space, they had the chance to make a big move this year, and they just didn't make it. Offseason grade D-. Calgary Flames. This was a fittingly fiery offseason for the Flames. They lost their two best players and yet somehow might be better off going into the next season. That's just crazy. What a way to respond to adversity. Gotta give it to them. Offseason grade A+. Carolina Hurricanes. The additions of Brett Burns and Max Pacioretty was massive in delivering finishers for the Hurricanes, a type of player they sorely lacked. Unfortunately, he'll miss a lot of the season due to being injured, but he's expected to be available during playoff time. Offseason grade B. Chicago Blackhawks. Hoo boy, they tanked hard. They just went from bad to worse this offseason, losing Alex DeBrincat, Dominik Kubalik, and Dylan Strome in return for nothing. The plan here is clearly just to be as bad as possible to get that draft pick. Little else could explain this. Offseason grade F. Colorado Avalanche. The Stanley Cup champs couldn't retain Kadri or Kemper, but they did get other key re-signings. Replacing the latter with Alexander Georgiev was the big move from the outside, and he could be the sleeper signing of the year. Not bad. Offseason grade C. Columbus Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets surprised a lot of people by being the team to land top free agent Johnny Gaudreau, despite not being favorites. That's a bona fide star to build around. There's some missteps otherwise as far as trades go, but all in all, a positive for certain. Offseason grade B-. Dallas Stars. Jason Robertson and Mason Marchment are the major question marks for this year, and if those investments pay off, the Stars are in a good spot. But they're each kind of a gamble. Getting starting goalie Jake Oettinger re-signed on a nice deal was their best offseason move ultimately. Offseason grade C. Detroit Red Wings. The pressure was mounting for GM Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings to take a step forward as they're years into a rebuild. They made use of their salary cap space with signings of David Perrin, Dominik Kubalik, Andrew Kopp, Oli Mata, and Ville Husso. There's a lot of positives there, and really no negatives to speak of. Offseason grade A. Edmonton Oilers. Getting free agent goalie Jack Campbell addressed one of the team's biggest weaknesses, so that's great, but they still needed to do more this offseason to really right the ship, and it's questionable if Campbell is actually good enough to be the guy on this lacking defense. Offseason grade C. Florida Panthers. This one is tricky. They did get Matthew Tkachuk to a huge long-term deal and should help make for a dominant top line, but they needed to trade one of the top offensive players in the league to make it happen. They're still strong offensively, but with more questions than before. Offseason grade B-. Los Angeles Kings. The Kings made one move that really mattered this offseason, but man, did it ever matter. Adding Kevin Fiala in a trade without giving up any member of their active roster was an absolute steal. A huge addition for sure. Offseason grade A. Minnesota Wild. And the Minnesota Wild were, on the other end of that trade. Bad move. Offseason grade D. Montreal Canadiens. This rebuild, like most, is predicted on the development of their youth. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and number 1 overall pick, Juraj Slavkovsky, will have to perform well and early in order for the Canadiens to shine in the next couple of years. Offseason grade B-. Nashville Predators. The re-signing of Flip Forsberg was huge, coming off his career year, but the signings of Nino Niederreiter and Ryan McDonough are solid for their value as well. They're not going to make them contenders overnight, but it's the kind of improvement you love to see. Offseason grade B. New Jersey Devils. The Devils still have a lot of ground to make up. They had some bold moves with the addition of Ondrej Palat and the trades of John Marino and Vitek Vanacek. Their building blocks are pretty solid, but even so, there are a long ways to go. Offseason grade C. New York Islanders. Woof. Offseason grade F. New York Rangers. The attempt at upgrading their second-line center spot may have backfired a bit, as Vincent Trocheck's contract is probably a bit more than it needed to. And they lost Andrew Kopp and Frank Vetrano, a big hit to their depth. Offseason grade C. Ottawa Senators. High-key might just be the best offseason of any team. Adding Alex DeBrincat was a total steal, and the signing of Claude Giroux was awesome. They gave up very little for all of this. Really just made out like bandits. Offseason grade A. Philadelphia Flyers. This team has no direction to speak of, not a single clue as to what they're doing. Management talked a big game, but nothing really came of it. They are full of holes and barely patched any of them. They can only hope to have a good draft lottery spot. Offseason grade D-. Pittsburgh Penguins. The bottom six is still lacking a bit. Putting some of their salary cap space, there might have been a good investment. But the overhaul to the defense and re-signing of their stars to solid deals means that the Penguins come off well here. Offseason grade B. San Jose Sharks. The Sharks have often seemed like a team with no plan. They seem to still be in the early stages of a major rebuild, and this is feeling like year zero territory. Maybe next year things will go better. Offseason grade D. Seattle Kraken. The Kraken's inaugural season didn't go great, but that's par for the course. Their offseason was nonetheless pretty strong, with Andrei Burakovsky, Justin Schultz, and Oliver Bjorkstrand being nice additions. They also got top prospect Shane Wright with the number 4 draft pick. Solid luck there. Offseason grade B. St. Louis Blues. They'll be signing the Blues for yet more years to come at this rate. They did re-sign some great players, but in terms of additions, very disappointing, and they saw 2 great players leave to the Red Wings. Offseason grade D. Tampa Bay Lightning. Salary cap issues are always a thing with the Lightning, it seems. This time, it cost them Ryan McDonough and Ondrej Palat. They didn't quite make up for the losses this go-around, but they should still be in contention. Offseason grade C. Toronto Maple Leafs. Their offense is going to keep being fire. Their defense will be better than credited for, but man, that goaltending situation is just dire, and the offseason did nothing to fix that. Failure to address your biggest weakness docks you a lot of points, I'm afraid. Offseason grade D. Vancouver Canucks. Getting their head coach, Bruce Boudreau, to come back was the biggest win the Canucks got this offseason. He should make a big difference. Player-wise, little change was made, and they've got questions on defense, but the offense should be a powerhouse. Offseason grade C+. Vegas Golden Knights. Coming off a disappointing season, the hits just kept coming as they lost a lot for nothing. Depth is a real issue for the Knights right now, and they have to hope to get lucky with breakout years for some players. Offseason grade D. Washington Capitals. Goaltending has been a major issue for the Capitals for years, but getting Darcy Kemper does a lot to fix that. Dylan Strome was a fine signing as well. Capitals did well for themselves. Offseason grade B. Winnipeg Jets. The Jets really just need a change in the front office. It's kind of silly how long they've gone without making any meaningful changes to address their weak spots. They're not likely to be a contending team until they fix this, and sadly, there was no shift in the general manager position. Offseason grade D. And that's all the time we have for today's video. Who do you think did the best this offseason? Which team fared the dirt worst? Be sure to let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and until next time, thanks for watching.